Today I'm going to tell you the story of two great, brave women of Indian history. First is Velu Nachiyar. She came from Tamil Nadu and she was among the first Indian rulers to fight and win against the British. She did this in 1780, which is 77 years before the First War of Independence. Popularly known as Veera Mangala, brave woman, she also devised the first recorded suicide bombing in history. She was an only child and her parents raised her as if she was a male child, a male heir actually. She was trained in horse riding, archery, martial arts such as Valleri, throwing sticks, silambam, fighting with a stick, and also with the swords and the other weapons. She was also well versed in several languages including English, French and Urdu. When she was 16, she was married off to the Prince of Shivagangai. They had a daughter together and named her Velu, and they ruled happily for about 2 decades, from 1750 to 1772, until her husband was killed by the British. The British had invaded Shivagangai with the help of the son of the Nawab of our court. When they killed her husband, she had to escape. She was forced to flee the kingdom with her daughter at that point. She found safe haven at Virupachi in Dindigul and lived there for 8 years under the sanctuary of Gopala Nayakar. Velu Nachiyar met Hyder Ali, the Sultan of Mysore at that time. She conversed with him in Urdu and highly impressed him with her courage and perseverance. This led to her getting support from Gopal Nayakar and Hyder Ali in her fight against the British. She remained in hiding at Virupachi near Dindigul for 8 years under Gopala Nayakar. Dindigul was located at a distance of around 100 kilometers from Shivagangai. During the 8 long years in hiding, she managed to arrange a huge army. Her army also included a big contingent of women warriors under the banner of Udayal Padai, in memory of Udayal, a brave woman who had sacrificed herself to help her escape. This wing was commandeered by Kuyili. Velu Nachiyar had herself trained them to perfection. Kuyili was one of the ablest of the Queen's commanders. In 1780, Rani Velu Nachiyar formed an alliance with a few neighbouring kingdoms and prepared for war against the British. She marched with her allies and army towards Shivagangai. She reached Kalayar Koil, the place where her husband was killed fighting in battle with the British. Here she encountered the British captain Joseph Smith. He was one of the British soldiers who had killed her husband. The Queen's army defeated the British forces there. The British stationed at Shivagangai were alerted of the approaching army of Velu Nachiyar. The Queen also had placed spies in Shivagangai. The spies rushed and advised her not to march towards Shivagangai. They said that the British troops had already prepared heavy guns and ammunition, including cannons. The British forces were superior in terms of guns and ammunition, and they could kill the opponents from a long distance. The Queen realized this. Kuyili, the commander of the women's wing, saw a group of women walking towards Shivagangai. She asked them where they were heading to. They replied that the next day was Vijayadashmi. It was only on Vijayadashmi day that the British allowed entry of women, only women, to the Rajeshwara temple at Shivagangai palace for worship. Kuyili devised a plan for the Queen. She undertook complete responsibility by volunteering for the task. She chose Vijayadashmi as the day for executing her plan. They all disguised as worshippers, hid their weapons in their saris, and went in. Velu Nachiyar, also disguised as a worshipping woman, went with the group. And the groups, one after another, headed towards the temple. 3 rounds of worship were to be carried out at the temple. They strategized to strike after the 3rd round. The 3rd round of worship with the maximum devotees left. Velu Nachiyar and a women's army attacked the British. The battle was fierce. British sepoys started running towards a warehouse in the temple to bring out ammunition. Kuyili immediately rushed towards the deity where a large ghee oil lamp was burning. 2 British sepoys shot at her. The wounded Kuyili moved forward. There was a pot of ghee oil nearby. She poured the ghee from the pot and emptied it over herself. Holding the ghee oil lamp, she rushed towards the warehouse. The British sepoys rushing towards the warehouse suddenly realized what was going to happen. In no time, the warehouse exploded. Kuyili had lit herself in the warehouse, turning into a suicide bomber, a human bomb. She perished and turned to ashes in no time. Her sacrifice led to the destruction of the British guns and ammunition, and the British were defeated. Velu Nachiyar's daughter succeeded her to the throne and ruled from 1790 to 1793. At 66, the valiant queen Velu Nachiyar passed away in 1796 at Shivagangai, her beloved kingdom. There were many brave warrior queens of Indian history whose stories are not so much known today. Even most history books do not mention them. But the courage and sacrifice of many great ones has to be recognized and told to the world. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you.